Stop it, man. Stop it, man. But again, let's get into this. Again, Chicago Sky 2025 draft report series. This is episode 4 with UConn's prolific guard number 35, Azzi Fudd. As always, we always gonna touch bases on Chicago Sky draft notes. Again, the draft is April 14th. We do have the 3rd and the 10th picked only from the Maybe trade. Again, free agents, Izzy, Brianna Stewart, Diamond DeShields, Michaela Onweye, Dana Evans, and our very own Kennedy Carter. Under contract, we have 6 players under contract: Mariah Jefferson, Elizabeth Williams, Rachel Banham, Lindsey Allen, Big Dog, Camilla Cardoza, and our face of our franchise, Angel Reese. So shout out to them. But let's meet Azzi Fudd. Let me get this banner out the way, though. Let me get this banner out the way. Let's meet Azzi Fudd. As those who've been watching her since high school, she did go to St. John's in Washington, D.C. She was the National Gatorade Player of the Year in 2021. She was also the #1 women's high school recruit in 2021. She was a 3-time Gatorade Player of the Year in her local area in Washington, D.C. And that's huge because y'all already know, it got a lot of ballers come from that area. So for her to have that kind of accolade 3 times, women's player of the year in her local area, that shows she has promise. Like, she's one of the most skillful. Like, when I was actually watching video, doing a lot of research on her, there's a lot of things she does, like on the court, as far as drawing double teams, getting eyes on her, things like that don't show up like on to normal fans. You got to really understand like her movement, her cuts, and things like that. She plays well off the ball when the action is for her. But again, like I've talked about in the past, if she isn't really involved in the action, she don't know how to present herself in a way to make herself. But we'll get into all of that. But again, shout out to her high school accolades. Again, National Gatorade Women's Player of the Year, 3-time Gatorade in Washington, D.C., the #1 high school recruit coming out of high school, 2-time WCAC Player of the Year, and she's a FIBA under 17 gold medalist. So shout out to her. One of the best high school careers I've seen. Women I've seen. So shout out to her. Uh, at UConn, Big East all freshman team in 2021-2022 season. Big East freshman of the week multiple times. I think I counted 6. So she was freshman of the week 6 times in the Big East. Of course, her career high is 32 points against Texas. That was 2 years ago. Again, she's been injury prone. So again, November 5th, November 14th was her career high. In 2022, she was all Big East second team in 2022-2023 season, even though she did play limited games. So that lets you know she was balling. Because again, she did get hurt in 2022-2023 season in limited amount of time. She still made all Big East second team. So shout out to her for that. Those who don't know, she is a Curry brand athlete. She's actually the first athlete on his brand and the first woman on his brand. So Curry is one of her mentors. She's an ambassador for Curry's Under Armour Curry brand shoe company. She also was, at 15 years old, the first female to actually participate in the 3-point contest, and she actually won it. So at 15 years old, she was the first woman to participate in his contest, and she actually won his 3-point contest. So shout out to her. Just doing research, she definitely is a big uh ambassador for that brand, for Curry. So shout out to her. I know somebody in the chat earlier said they could see her going to Golden State to be under Curry. We'll see. I doubt she'll be there at that second round pick, but if they want to pick her at 5, I don't see anything wrong with that. But we'll see how they feel about her. Again, injuries will definitely play a big part in where she lands in the draft, how teams view her, scouts view her. Her incoming success would definitely be dependent on her injury. So let's get into that before we even get into stats. Azzi Fudd, aka the injury bug. In high school, Azzi Fudd, a series of knee injuries. They started in her junior year in high school when she tore her ACL and NCL in her right knee while playing for Team USA. Again, she was on that under 17 FIBA team as well. In her freshman year at UConn, she missed 11 games due to a foot injury. In her sophomore year at UConn, she missed 22 games due to a right knee injury she suffered playing against Notre Dame when Aaliyah Edwards fell on back of her leg while they were on offense. In her junior year in 2023-2024 season, after playing the first two games, she tore her ACL and suffered a meniscal tear in her right knee coming down from a layup at practice. It wasn't in a game, it was at practice when she tore her ACL in her knee. So she definitely has some season injury, career ending type of knee injuries that teams are going to be questionable about. I mean, talent can only get you so far. The best ability is availability, and she's been challenging and struggling with that. And again, when she's on the court, she's prolific, she's high profile, she's impactful, right? Her staying on the court is the problem. And again, when I'm a team and I'm evaluating someone like Azzi Fudd, one of the first things I'm going to say is she worth it? The second thing I'm going to say is, how long can she stay healthy? And the third thing I'm going to say is, how long will it take these injuries to take a toll on her physically and mentally? Because when you're rehabbing from injuries, mental plays a big part in it because you lose sleep. You gotta really try to figure out how confident you are in your movements. You gotta really get back on the court and feel confident in being touched, being bumped, falling on somebody falling against you, people roughing you up. And again, we all know in the WNBA, the women's game, this is grown women. They're physical. So again, NBA teams probably on their sticky notes, on their whiteboard at this moment are probably saying, is she worth it? Does her talent supersede any injury concerns and scares we might have? And that's a huge question you have to ask yourself when you're drafting her. So again, whether it be the Chicago Sky taking a chance on her, again, I'll take a chance on her if Olivia Miles isn't available, right? Of Sonia Citron, you feel you can get her at the 10th spot, right? Things like that. Um, it depends. It depends. Somebody maybe trade up, maybe trade back so they can get two picks later in the first round, and she's one of those picks. I mean, you just never know. Again, most mock drafts have her going in the top five. Talent wise, most mock drafts at this point have her going in the top five. So again, we gonna see where she lands, uh, how she becomes more healthy. She did have a scare in the last game, and those who were asking, Ozzie Fudd had a minor knee sprain and will likely miss Notre Dame's matchup. According to reports from this morning, she will likely miss Notre Dame's matchup against UConn. And again, that's a top 10 matchup against Notre Dame. Notre Dame already beat USC top 10 top when they were the number one seed. So again, this is a highly touted matchup. Definitely wanted to see her in this game playing against the likes of Sonia Citron and Olivia Miles and Paige Beckers, who will be in the draft with them, along with perhaps the player of the year in Hidalgo, Hannah Hidalgo. She's actually the front runner right now for player of the year. So shout out to Hidalgo on that. I know they're streaming about her, but again, while we're on that Notre Dame game, I just wanted to give her that shout out. She is the leading candidate right now for player of the year. So again, this would have been a high profile matchup for Ozzie Fudd to show her talent, like show her talent against players who are perhaps she'll be fighting for when it comes to draft night. Again, Olivia Miles, Sonia Citron, and Ozzie Fudd, they're all in that same mix as where they're going to be picked. Again, this was definitely a matchup where she can make a name for herself. And unfortunately, the injury bug has hit her again, and she'll likely miss this game due to a knee injury. So prayers out to her. Hopefully, she gets healthy soon because I'm afraid. Looking at her track record, I'm afraid Ozzy will become a what if player. What if she was healthy? What if she would have stayed another year and got healthy? Uh, I'm afraid she'll be a what if player because she doesn't have to come out this year. So I'm afraid that she'll be a what if player. So we'll see. And those who know who've been watching UConn all season, you already know she missed the first 2 games of the season. So um, I mean she's on track to play the same the same amount of games she played her sophomore year. So again, we'll see where she lands as far as this health bug goes. We'll see when she comes back, but prayers out to her. Hopefully she gets healthy, so she can really show her talent, especially going into March Madness. Um, my hope for her is March Madness is her calling. I'm hoping that March Madness is the moment where Azzi Fudd shows why she was the #1 recruit in 2021. So shout out to her, man. Again, those who don't know her statistics, this year she's averaging 10 points, almost 3 rebounds, almost 2 assists, shooting 50% from the field. Again, she's played in five of the games. She's just starting again. She was coming off the bench the first couple games. She's always been a great 3-point shooter. Um, in 2023, she only played 2 games, so that 26%. I'm not too concerned about that. But when she did play 25 games, she shot 43% as a freshman. That's as a freshman. As a sophomore, in 15 games, she shot 34%. That's still above league average. That's still above league average. And this year, she's shooting league average in minimal games as well. Again, she's a 38% 3-point shooter. She shoots 45% from the field, which is above league average for guards that play, especially that play like her. I think the average guard field goal percentage in the WNBA is 43%. So she's shooting above even field goal average, even with her health scares. So if Azzi Fudd can find a way to stay healthy, she could be one of them ones. That's why I'm praying. Because again, I don't want her to end up just watching her game. When you do research on players, you get a different likeness for them. Like I wasn't like 100% fond of her game, but since I've been doing research, watching film, watching scouting reports on her, listening to how players talk about her, and again, we'll get into a lot of that later as well. She's definitely been someone that has grown on me over the last week or so. And again, I've only did a week or so of research on her, but when you do research and scout someone, you get a different appreciation for the work ethic. And again, her coming back from those type of injuries, that's work ethic and mental toughness. You don't come back from those type of injuries, still play as confident as she does. She is a little step slower. You can tell she's out of shape. But the confidence that she plays with, the way she moves without the ball, the way she leads her team even from the bench, you can tell she has great mental toughness. And a lot of players that has had her injuries, they've would have shut down by now. They would have retired from the game. They would have said, you know what, these surgeries are just not worth it. Um, those who know me, who are probably in the chat, will tell you that's why I stopped playing because of my ACL injuries. Like after my fourth surgery, I was like, this is enough. The doctor reminded me every time we have this surgery, we're not replacing it with anything. You're losing muscle mass. So again, you're losing tissue. So I had to decide that I want to continue to go through surgeries, rehab for 3 to 4 months in the swimming pool, in the cryo chamber, like things like that. That goes on when you have ACL surgeries, and I had 4 of them. So that was one of my retirement callings. Too many injuries, man. Again, that's why I'm telling you from experience, you have to have mental toughness to come back from just one. And again, for her to come back from that many ACL tears, even going back to high school, playing for Team USA with her knee injuries, that's mental toughness that she doesn't get credit for. So shout out to her for that. Like shout out. That's why I don't want her to be. She's too talented. I've watched clip after clip after clip. She's a talented player. So shout out to her. Hopefully she gets healthy soon. She's a great free throw shooter. I mean, she shoots 91% from the free throw line. That means she doesn't miss. And again, she doesn't foul a lot. Her average fouls per game is 1 over her career, so she doesn't foul a lot. One of the challenges she does have is rebounding. To say she's listed at 5'11", she doesn't crash the boards very well. So I'm going to be paying attention to that going into March Madness whenever she returns. I'm going to be paying attention directly to how she crashes the boards. Um, her defense is okay, and we'll get into that. But her assist is another area of concern for me when we think about someone who can handle the ball as much as she does, has a ball rate as high as hers. Her assists are very, very not concerning, but eye opening to me to pay attention to. Like, is it the system? Is it the players missing the shots off her passes? Like, again, just looking at a stat sheet for assists doesn't tell you everything. You have to look at the film and say, okay, how many passes does she make per game? When does she get the ball? Is she running the ISO curls? Is all she in is in pick and roll where she's the shooter? So you have to take into account those things. So again, that will definitely take film study to kind of see throughout this season what kind of system Gino runs when she's in the game. Because again, I've seen her be a willing passer, but I don't see her stats replicate that. So I think it's more of a systematic thing than her actually not being willing to pass and play and kind of play the playmaker role. So, but that's something I'll be paying attention to. But again, she's a high profile player, a great, 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 great. I mean, great. She's one of the best 3-point shooters in college basketball. He's one of the most prolific 3-point shooters in college basketball. Quick release, great form, great footwork, and we'll get into all of that in a few minutes on another slide. But shout out to her. Just from doing some research, and again, that's why I'm one of those ones, because I can do my comps and I can do my play styles. So this is my play styles just from watching film on her, watching how she moves with the ball, off the ball, things like that. So players that's not familiar with her game, that are WNBA fans, I put together a few players that have play styles like hers that you can truly understand her game going into the draft. For those who might not actually know her game and just look at stat sheets. So here's a few players that her play style. This isn't her comps. This is her play styles. Skylar Diggins, she's a combo guard just like Skylar Diggins. In high school, she did play point guard and shooting guard, even though her assist doesn't say it. She's a willing passer. It's just the systems that she's in. They need her to score more than pass. Her scoring ability is A1, top notch. Leadership potential is there. Even when she was injured, I went back and yesterday I went back and watched footage of games, full games when she was injured. She's in the timeouts. She got the clipboard. She's showing guards where to be on the court, how to find shots. You don't see that a lot from players who are injured that are used to being stars. So shout out to her for still leading her team off the court, even with injuries going on. She has a scoring prowess of Enrique. The way she has that mid-range right left crossed over, she has this baseline ball behind my back, pull up from my left, shoot with my right kind of like move. She did it like 3 times against Louisville. So she definitely has some Enrique in her. She's been watching some Enrique film. Her ability to create her own shot, same thing. That baseline move she does. She is clutch when UConn needs a bucket when they're railing. They went to her in games when she did play. I went back and even watched some freshman games. They will go to her even in crunch time when they needed a bucket. She would be involved in the play, and she didn't look scared. So I'm gonna give her that clutch performance factor like Enrique has. She's a high volume scorer like Kelsey Mitchell. She can put up some shots. She can put up some shots. She's not as she's not afraid to take 20 shots in a game. She's looking to shoot. Um, excellent ball handling skills. And again, that's why I'm more leaning towards, I think, is the type of system she's in and the type of players they want her to be versus her passing ability, because she doesn't get a lot of turnovers. She isn't pressured a lot. Ball in her hand, she's able to create space, find her own shot, even on the ball. Again, the ability to play both guard positions on offense is definitely Kelsey Mitchell esque. Katie Lou Samuelson, those who know her, she did go to she got the UConn connection, so similar build, similar size actually. Both of them are excellent outside shooters, can't leave either open. Um, I went watch because when I wrote this, when I was first doing this, I said Buddy Hield, right? I said Buddy Hield. Because I do like to give NBA comparisons because a lot of NBA fans have moved over to WNBA. So I try to help them bridge the gap as well. For those who don't really know a lot about WNBA players. So I always like to put NBA player comp in there for the to help them basically. Because a lot of them are my subscribers as well. Klay Thompson is her comp, like point blank, period. Like the style of play, the way that they play on offense, definitely her comp. Excellent, excellent, excellent catch and shoot ability, quick release, smooth form, never look out of sorts, even when they're being guarded, even when they're being double teamed, coming off of curls, coming off of pin downs, things like that. Quick release, steady body, great shoulder to rim ratios, great hip to floor ratios, great heel nail to floor ratios when they're shooting. If you play basketball, you know those terms I'm talking about. If you haven't, that's basically like when you're working with a trainer and they're telling you how your posture should be, how you should stand, no matter if you're being double teamed, coming off a curl screen. If you notice Klay Thompson, he never changes his form. You can be right in his grill, he won't change his shooting form. She has the similar play style as Klay Thompson, and if she can replicate that in the WNBA, she'll be just fine, in my opinion. Again, I never doubt her talent. It's her injuries that could derail her career. But again, this is just my play styles for Azzi Fudd. Um, as far as her measurements, her height comparisons at 5'11, Dejanay Carrington, Jewel Lloyd, Sabrina Nescu. I'm labeling Azzi Fudd, an off-ball guard with 3-and-D potential. Some of her strengths are catch and shoot. She's great in pick and roll. She loves Gino has her in a lot of flare screens, sharp corner pin downs, above the breaks. Um, they run this play where she starts wing and Paige will drive to her side and she'll do this side step pin down where the center comes around the nail, screens her who's ever defending her backside, and she kind of floats to the corner. So shout out to her for that. She has a great above the break pick and roll that she runs. She used to run with Aaliyah Edwards, like lethal, like this, like lethal. And again, one of my last videos got flagged for YouTube content, so I've been wanting to do I wanted to show for this slide while I was like breaking it down. I did want to show some game footage, but I wasn't able to get the 15-minute splices in there. Hopefully I'll get it for my episode 5 breakdown. But again, she has this top of the break pick and roll that she runs with bigs where she just curls left, lets the center roll, and she just pulls up. It's automatic. Klay Thompson esque. Like I'm talking Klay Thompson esque pick and roll shooter. She isn't even trying to drive. She'll pull up 4 feet beyond the 3 point line. Like great range on her form. She doesn't seem overwhelmed when she's shooting. So again, if she can stay healthy, she will be definitely be someone to reckon with. Definitely someone to reckon with. She's great at open court finishes, driving to the basket. She has a little weight on her, so she isn't bumped around easily. One thing is she doesn't shoot a lot of free throws. She isn't like a free throw drawer, but she does knock down her free throws at a 91% clip. So she can get to the free throw line and make them, but she doesn't do it as often because when she runs fast break, she's kind of running to spread the floor. She's usually running to the left or the right wing, leaning towards the corner. If she is running the fast break and she has the ball, she's capable of pulling up above the break. Her above the break shooting percentage is 37%, which is amazing. She has a 37% above the break uh 3 point percentage. And for those who don't really understand the magnitude of that, that's better than Diana Taurasi when she was at UConn. That's better than Caitlin Clark when she was at Iowa, and that's better than Sabrina Ionescu. So shout out to her, 37.8% actually above the break on fast break 3 point shots. She will pull up like Klay. I'm telling you, she's Klay Thompson esque. If she can just stay healthy, man. Again, her defense isn't nothing to sneeze at either. Like when you actually do the numbers, her defense and watch the actual film, she doesn't jump out. on the stat sheet, you don't see a lot of blocks from her. You don't see a lot of steals from her. You don't see a lot of turnovers caused by her. When you're just looking at the actual game, she does a lot of hockey assist kind of turnovers. Her turnover rate that she forces is in the 90 percentile. So if you know what that means, that's a high clip. So her defense is definitely underrated. Just watching film, I went back and watched the total Louisville game. Her defense is underrated. Her point of attack defense, that's why I have that as one of her strengths. Point of attack defender is basically like you come down on a fast break, the first man to jump up to guard you, they cut you off from penetration. They might deter the first pass. They might close out on you quick where you can't get a shot off. Like she has a motor. It's kind of inconsistent, but it's consistent at the same time, which is very weird. It's like if she's not guarding on the ball, her help defense isn't really that good. But on her on ball defense is amazing because she's strong. She isn't like laterally quick, but she's quick enough. I don't really consider her like a WNBA tier one level athlete on offense or defense because she has like a smooth um I'm gonna find a way to get there on defense, or I'm gonna find a way to get my shot on offense kind of game. So for her, it's really just about her just being consistent, staying on the court. She has a very high IQ, which I'll break down later. But again, 90% tile and turnovers forced, definitely at a guard position. Usually you get that with wings and centers, but for her to have that at a guard position lets you know she's a willing defender and it doesn't all show up on the stat sheet. And that's a stat that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. You actually have to just go pull numbers and combine them together. So you just won't find that. You have to know how to look at numbers. If you play college ball, you know what I'm talking about. You gotta know how to look at the numbers, put them in the calculator, look at other players' numbers, and kind of like go from there. Some of her weaknesses are, I know we just finished talking about her defense, but one of her biggest weaknesses is defensive rebounding. She doesn't crash the board very well. She leaks out a lot. Once her offensive player gets a shot up, she leaks out a lot. She doesn't really crash boards. That can be concerning at the next level because the guards are smarter. Guards crash boards like your Dejanay Carringtons, even your Kennedy Carters. They crash boards even at their size. So that's definitely something that WNBA scouts will probably be looking out for. And again, maybe it could be the system of maybe she's the leaker, right? Again, every offense has a fast break leaker. Maybe she's the leaker because she's their best shooter. Like she's UConn's best shooter. She's one of the best shooters in the nation. So maybe that's just their fast break offense. She's the leaker no matter where she's at on the floor. Because again, I don't see Gino, and Gino is a student of the game and he'll get on his players no matter their ranking, no matter how great they are. And I went back and yesterday I was doing that yesterday morning. I went read reports off of his scouting on her, and he never brought up defensive rebounding. So it must be something that they agree, hey, you're the leaker on. So we'll see. Her perimeter passing still needs work. And her pick and roll, when she curls, she's looking to shoot. She's not looking to pass with the bigs. She's a willing passer though, but her ability to see the pass before it happens and make that pass isn't really there. And again, I don't when you're a prolific shooter like that, passing isn't something that you train to do. You either born with it or you're not, kind of thing. That seeing the play before it happens, kind of thing. That's not something you can learn. That's something that's a talent that you're born with. If you're in a system where pick and roll is heavy, your assists are going to be kind of like elevated because of the style of play. So I'm not really concerned about that because she's a shooter. Again, when I look at Klay Thompson, I'm not expecting him to go out there and give me 6 assists a game. I'm expecting him to go out there and hit buckets. So same thing with Enrique. She gets a point guard in there. I'm not expecting Enrique to give me 6, 7 assists a game. I'm expecting her to get buckets and be there when I need a bucket. Again, the most concerning thing for her is again talent out the window, right? Talent through the roof. Talent you won't find when it just comes to pure talent. You won't find 5 players in this draft more talented than her at all. overseas, college, you won't find 5 players in this draft that's more talented than Azzi Fudd. Her biggest problem is her health. Over her college career, she's missed 73 games. And depending on how this injury looks, it can move to 75, 76 games in her college career. So again, he just needs to get healthy and stay healthy. Get healthy and stay healthy. Again, get healthy and stay healthy, Ozzy Fudd. Get healthy and stay healthy. Um, as far as her player comparison, I know we talked about play style, but her player comparisons, upside, meaning when she's can be upside is her greatest, like her greatest. Jackie Young play style. Uh, Defensively, offensively, can get a shot, can put the ball on the floor, can create for others if necessary. Both of them don't crash the glass very well. Her upside. This is her up again. I hear people say upside and ceiling a lot. That's two different things. Upside is her peak, her greatest is a Jackie Young type of player. Her ceiling, all star level, Alicia Gray type of player. Reality of where she is right now, according to her college game, Kayla McBride. And don't sleep on Kayla McBride. She's averages 15 points a game. She's the second leading scorer on the Lynx. She's their second best shooter behind Bridget Carrington, but Carrington doesn't even take as many threes as her. She defends the other team's best player. Her reality, Ozzy Fudd's reality. The height comparisons are there. Kayla is almost the same. Their height is really the same. When you get to that 5'10" through 6 foot, it really depends on how you holding your head and how much hair you got on your head sometimes, and where your shoulders stand. So height comparison is there. Kayla McBride is a little more girthier than her as far as like weight goes, but just as far as strength when they're guarding, similar. So Kayla McBride, if her injuries don't derail her career, my reality for her, my expectation for her coming into the WNBA is a Kayla McBride type of player. Uh uh Tyisha Harris is her floor. That means if injury derails her career, even when she gets to the WNBA. And those who don't know Harris is a baller as well. Hit or miss kind of player. A rotational guard off the bench. Started a couple games last year. Again, she had a 20-point game last year. So again, she's not nothing to sneeze at either. But I'm giving her that comparison because I'm adding in play style. I'm adding in injuries. Again, if injuries derail her career, in a way where she can't really stay on the floor, but she does get to the WNBA and just becomes a rotational player. Her floor is Harris. Again, my assessment is Kayla McBride is my assessment of where Azzi Fudd's injuries are. Again, her ceiling. If Azzi Fudd can find her groove, get in shape, Alicia Gray is the best comparison to any player in the WNBA that she can be. Both are prolific shooters, can defend some, willing passers, but passing isn't there. Alicia Gray is a little better rebounder than her. But outside of that, their comps are you're looking at this point with injuries, you're looking at a college Alicia Gray, basically. And again, if she can get these injuries under control, get healthy, create muscle memory, confident, a little more confidence, get a little more stronger, work on her quickness, Jackie Young is definitely the type of player. So basically, if the Aces wanted to take a chance on her with their pick, let's say Kelsey Plum leaves, Jackie Young would be the perfect person for her to tutelage her, to mentor her at practice, during games, film study. Their play styles are so similar. I even went back and watched some of Ozzy Fudd's high school games. Their play style is so similar. Again, those who don't know Jackie Young, she was the number one pick. She is an Olympic gold medalist. That lets you know the upside that Azzi Fudd has if she can just stay healthy. But again, My reality is Kayla McBride. If she can just stay at Kayla McBride, I'm fine with that. Um, I'm fine with that. So I do like to do my WNBA grades. Her grade going into the draft is a B minus because I'm adding in injuries. Her if she was an injury prone player, she would be an A minus player because she does need to get a little quicker, crashing the boards, assists. So she would be an A minus player to me if she never got injured in her college career. She would be an A minus player to me. Her shooting is A plus, elite shooter from all areas of the court, excellent form, quick release, high percentage from the 3 point line and free throw line. Again, 34% versus 91% from the free throw line. That's top. That's you got those percentage. You one of them ones. Her scoring ability, I give it an A. Can create her own shot, effective in catch and shoot situations, abilities to score at all three levels, 3 point line, mid range, at rim, basketball IQ. I'll give it a B. High understanding of the game. Makes good decisions when she has the ball. Doesn't cause a lot of turnovers. Shoot when needs it, passes when needed. Even though it doesn't go into an assist, she doesn't mind passing it off if her shot isn't there or her penetration isn't there. Read defenses very well on pick and roll. She reads defenses at a WNBA level on pick and rolls. You hear me, WNBA scouts? Come over here. I can teach y'all something. I can teach y'all how to actually scout players. Because again, I don't know what some of y'all scouting reports be saying, but I watch film and I'm like, I don't know what you seen. You don't understand what a pick and roll actually does. Like, so again, I've watched some videos and some scouting of her, and hey, to each his own. Everybody got their own opinion. To each his own. Her fundamentals, I'll give it a B plus. Solid ball handling skills, um, average passing ability, strong footwork though. So her fundamentals, I'll give it a B plus. Areas of improvement, athleticism, I'll give it a B. While a good athlete, not considered elite at the WNBA level according to her speed and quickness and lateral movements. Defense, I'll give that a B as well. Has shown potential, but I need to see more consistency from games played. Again, against top teams, uh, she's missed March Madness, playing against teams that could really show her defensive ability. So again, if she can stay healthy, that might go up some. But her defense, from what I've seen on film, I'll give it a B. She doesn't get burnt a lot. She's great at closeout. She stops penetration. She's good at the point of attack on defense. So again, durability, a C minus. Has dealt with injuries in her college career that should raise concerns to any WNBA scout. Like, I'll give it a C minus. Uh, and the reason this is the reason I'll give it a C minus. Even though she's missed that many games, when you grade someone's injuries, you don't just grade when they get hurt. You grade what happens when they come back. Are these injuries taking a toll on their performance? Yes or no? They're not taking a toll on her performance. You can tell when she comes back, she's still confident. And again, maybe that could be part of why she keeps getting re-injured because she doesn't mind doing the dirty work. She doesn't mind getting in there for loose balls. So who knows? Again, but sometimes some players just attract injuries for no reason. Like when Aaliyah Edwards fell on her on the back of her leg, going up for a layup, right? It was actually an offensive rebound, fell on the back of her leg, right? That's a freak injury that you can't prepare for. That's an injury that's no cause of yours. Like you're doing your job and they just happen to fall on the back of your leg. I've played with a player that happened to in high school. Like that's something you can't determine. So I don't blame her for that injury, but the others are concerning because they're repeated injuries from the same type of ailments. So her durability, I'll give it a C minus. Just because I need to see her on the court. Um, again, uh, she's considered a high level prospect in the WNBA due to her elite shooting ability, scoring prowess, high IQ. Her potential to be an impact player at the professional level is significant. She can provide shooting for you. She can provide perimeter defense for you if she can stay healthy and continue to develop her overall game. She'll definitely be a player to watch out for in the next 3 to 5 years. So again, I want to see her be healthy. My overall WNBA grades for her as of this moment is a B minus. I just need to see her in the court more. I'm excited just continuing to do film on her. I know a lot of people just from the pandering I've been doing, the what do they call it? The the kind of the banner I've been giving her as far as like how she plays. I've just been procrastinating. I've been watching film on her. She's the way she plays, I would love to play with a player like her. The way she plays, I would get 10 assists a game. I I would get the center would hate it, but I would get 10 assists a game because I'm running every pick and roll and I need her in ball action. Not on the pick and roll. I need her in whatever my strong corner is. I need her there. Come on the pin down, come on the curl, come on the elbow, and we can make something happen. But again, that'll do it for my Chicago Sky 2025 Draft Report Series, Episode 4 with Azzi Fudd. Let me get to this chat.